The following has been brought to you by SJP World Media.
Hall of Flame, no opinions are the same. Bubbly chocolate in the bin for the poll, who will win? Cream soda wrestling, pimple dick ranting, air fryer Brussels sprouts, Maxi often cheats. Hey yo, let's start the show. CWF are set to go. Many movies I won't know, such a fiasco. Max v Cy was pretty crap, probably won't go back to that. Max needs to wear a hat, and he sometimes cheats. Hogan is a liar, but Barry Windham is the
worst
thing. Hogan is a liar, hear all about it on Chain Wrestling.
All right.
Wow, dead air. The best kind of air.
I'm not arsed today, mate.
I mean, that's been evident for the last few weeks. I mean,
wow.
There was a little bit of upturn last week when you got dead excited because it was something new and tag team. We've got to have a discussion. But you've really phoned it in over the past 2 months. Those two episodes.
Do you actually want to see me phone it in? Do you want to see me not bothered? Because I'll do it.
I mean, I know the real you. I know you're not bothered. You are just upset because, and I agree with you, the CWF made a fucking horrific choice this week.
What is wrong with these people?
Yeah. I put up a horrific pick, and you put great thought into yours, and I was actually really looking forward to yours whitewashing my pick because it had your favourite tag team and it had my favourite tag team coming together in a super team match. And what won? A shitty Tag Team Turmoil from a pay-per-view at the arse end of fucking 2005.
I mean, we'll obviously get to it when we cover the wrestling part of the show, but I don't actually mind the concept of the Tag Team Turmoil match. We'll get to that later, but what pisses me off is we had to watch the fucking Heartthrobs rather than Arn and Tully. We had to watch fucking Hurricane and fucking Rosie bullshit rather than the Road Warriors. What is wrong with these people? What is wrong with you all?
I feel you're telegraphing your thoughts and opinions on the match a little bit early.
Maybe
you're not giving enough meat on the bone for people to stick around.
You reckon? That's what it is it?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I mean, stick around. It ain't going to take long because the match was only about fucking 3 minutes anyway. So
you've pissed him off, folks. You've absolutely pissed him off.
I'm fuming, mate. I'm absolutely fucking fuming. I'm not even joking.
What was the percentage score as well? Because obviously I don't go on Twitter if I can help it.
Will I have a look? Yeah. I'll bring it out now.
I mean, if it was close, then perhaps we can forgive.
It weren't even close, mate. I don't think. I think we've just been fucking stitched up, mate. Let me have a look, see if I can find it. Yeah, I'm not amused. I was really looking forward to watching that Starrcade 87 match.
Well, you can watch it tonight, but just with a tear in your eye.
No,
this is the greatest night of your life.
I'm very tired as well, Magsy, today. Very
Okay.
tired indeed. It's the busy week at work. It's like the month end at work is the busiest. So really, really busy. Very, very tired. So I can't put it on when we finish here because I probably won't make it through the entrances before I fall asleep. So I can't find it now. Where's the poll gone? Oh, there it is.
You probably
Um,
deleted it in a angry rage.
67 fucking %. What is wrong with you lot? What is wrong with you lot? Honestly.
2/3 of people voted violence.
Oh, absolutely. Hey yo, how are we all doing? All right. Fuck me.
It's
This is the
okay,
most I've
folks.
sworn in the
It's
first
okay,
10 minutes
folks.
of a show.
I'll be the happy, jolly person that I'm normally, and I'll counteract his
You will.
apathy.
Well, that way. No, that way. That way. You will. Oh dear me. I had to play around with this StreamYard the other day, Maxie. How long have we had this now? Oh, 3 years?
Yeah, something like that.
Oh,
I know you put it in dark mode, which is
that was not me. That was Mr. Griffin.
okay.
I
like dark mode.
I like it as well.
It was a bit of a shock to the senses.
Yeah. That was Mr. Griffin. He thought he was doing it just for his own setup, but apparently
it's everybody. Yeah, it's pretty much everybody.
Yeah. I was pressing all the buttons at the bottom that makes our heads all flip around and change places and stuff. There's loads of options, isn't there?
Yeah, these here.
Yeah, like that.
I mean, that's probably the best one.
That was funny.
No, this is the best one because you get the glory of your voice, but without none of the horrification of your face.
Whoa, that's an extreme close-up, isn't it? What was that from? Wayne's World, wasn't it? Extreme close-up. Now, when you did that one where it made my screen disappear, it just looked like it morphed into a little tiny picture of you behind me.
Oh, I mean, there's lots and lots of tiny little pictures of you behind me.
Yeah, look at this. Look at this. This picture of me that you use constantly. I've got a massive chunk missing at the side of my face because the picture I initially sent you was me thumbs up like that at work.
Yeah, and
so you've obviously
when you
cut
create
the thumb out.
I didn't cut it out. It was done by a pin create website. So what they do, they make the background transparent. So they just draw a line around the important bit and get rid of the rest.
Yeah, so I just got a massive chunk missing out of my fucking face.
Yeah, it's like you've had a tumour and it's been removed.
Yeah. On that lovely note, good afternoon, good evening, good morning, wherever and whenever you may be listening or watching from. This is Chain Wrestling Live, proudly brought to you by SJP World Media, episode 172, I think. Or I've miscounted again.
140 live.
Yeah, so that's about right. 32 non-live, wasn't it? That sounds about right. Yeah. I am Si, and with me, as always, is the Romeo to my Antonio. Fucking heartthrobs, people. What is wrong with you?
Oh, they were some sexy humans then.
The Maven to my Simon Dean. What is wrong with you people? We could have had the Road Warriors. We could have had a podcaster who is obviously the CWS favourite because he could put any old shit up and win the poll. Lord Mags, how are you today?
I'm good. I mean, this CWS favourite, I don't know how that is possible because I dislike them all with a vengeance, and yet they still keep picking my picks. And you pander to them. You basically give the people what they want, and they hate you for it. So I think it just proves the old adage of treat them mean, keep them keen.
Yeah, maybe, mate. Maybe.
You're just too nice to them. That's what it is.
So I just check as well with my my lovely wife in wherever she's in the chat or wants to WhatsApp me or whatever. How does the volume sound, Shireen? Because last week I had a few volume problems early on, didn't I? And I put it down.
It seems I'm having volume problems now, but my microphone here, which is very expensive, decides what level volume that I should have, and it turns it down all the fucking time. So apologies, Matt. Blame Sure.
See, mine, I had to move a little bit because I got that new monitor, didn't I?
You did.
So what I've done now is that literally in the last 10 minutes is I took the monitor out and put it down here so I can put the laptop back where it was, sit in a normal position, and have the microphone back where it was. So hopefully it'll be back to normal. So
Well,
that's the plan.
as
Anyway.
normal as we get.
Yeah, there we go. There we go. On that note, Magsy, shall we dive into the chat and see which of these bastards who voted for your shitty choice has joined us?
Well, that's his view, not mine. SAR does not represent my views. I think you're all amazing people, and I absolutely love you all. First up, Sharon, the First Lady of the SJP World Media Network, says it's Tuesday night. You know what that means. Yes, and tonight it means Sai is going to be a cranky ass little bitch. Matt from Badly Played Video Game says apologies for being late. I mean, you were literally 3 minutes past the hour, so that's absolutely fine. Matt, glad to have you here. And he says,
not fucking acceptable.
and this is aimed at you, not me, put some respect on Rosa and Shane Helms. Yes, well,
No.
Someone will show him some respect later on, Matt, and it's probably not going to be Sar. Connor in the chat, hello, sir. I think we might be doing the match review all the way through the show. I've got that sense that he's going to keep bringing up. Connor in the chat says, hello, gents. How are you, Connor? Hope you're doing well. Matt confirms that 67% of these lovely, lovely people voted with me, which means 33% of them A, have taste, and 2 don't want to see the world burn.
3-2.
Yeah.
Do you want to redo that so I can cut that out?
No.
Okay.
That's it. That's it now.
Okay.
I'd never ever go back and correct myself because I'm always right. Matt says, I love dark mode this past weekend on the wall. Yeah, I have dark mode on everything. As soon as I get a new phone, it's straight into dark mode. Because it's just too bright. You can't be. It's more under the radar is dark mode. You're not as conspicuous.
When you're watching your dirty movies, when you're sat next to the wife, it doesn't light up the bedroom.
With the phone angled at a very particular, so she can only see the back.
I'm on TikTok, I promise.
Then why's the quilt moving very rapidly? Speaking of wanking, Morty, hello, sir. How are you? Connor says, apparently United have met the clause for Cunha from Wolves, which means you've got your Premier League proven striker. Proven means I like Cunha, but
he's very, very good player. Don't get me wrong, he's a very, very good player. What we're buying, though, is one of the 10s that Amarim wants. That's not our striker that we're after. No. We're still after a striker.
And his disciplinary reputation, not exactly brilliant.
And you say about meeting the clause, that's not quite accurate. We're saying we'll pay it, yes, but how we're going to pay it, Wolves and United are still arguing because Wolves are saying that there's a structure in the contract that has been there for the last year. United are saying we'll give you 5 pence about every 10 years. That's the way United work. So Wolves are naturally going, probably going to fucking leave that, lads. So yeah, it's not quite that cut and dry yet, Connor. But yeah,
I think he'll end up at United though.
Oh yeah, it's what he wants. The club want to sell him. So,
yeah. Matt says, apparently I'm loud all of a sudden. Like I said, blame Sure. Don't buy Show marks. I mean, they are good, but they do have minds of their own. And then he says it seems to have stabilised now. Morty says, we sound as beautiful as we look. Ugh, Jesus, I'm sorry for your ears then because...
There must be something wrong with our mics.
Sharon says, we sound better this week, so we must also look better. So that's fine. And then Matt says, Cunha can't do any worse than the last Brazilian striker United signed, Bebe. Was it Bebe?
I don't know if we've ever. I don't think we've ever signed a Brazilian striker, have we? Because Bebe played out wide.
I was going to say he was more of a winger.
Yeah, so if you're going to try and
was he the one who
fucking facts right?
Who did they sign him from Vitória?
Yeah, he was brought in for a pretty decent chunk of money.
Yeah, weren't he homeless like 2 years before or something like that?
Yeah, he scored an absolute.
It was like real rags to riches like story.
Yeah, and now I think he's homeless again. He's not. It didn't turn out well, did it? Let's be honest.
No, He didn't learn
No.
lessons. Anyway, that's the chat all
No.
caught up with for now.
There we go. Thank you so much, Mr. Mags. There we are. I haven't got much to bring today with regards to news or anything like that, because the non-wrestling topic is very much based upon an article or item of news. I suppose apart from the fact that this weekend was the cheese roll in Gloucester, of course, because it was bank holiday weekend. You could watch it, Magsy, live on the BBC via their website and so on. How insane is that?
Your license fee working wonders.
It was crazy, mate. I clicked on it to have a little look, and they've got a guy doing commentary on the thing, and they've got reporters at the top of the hill and the bottom of the hill speaking to different people and whatnot. It's taken a it's obviously got bigger and bigger over the years for a very long time, but it's got this kind of real cult following now, hasn't it? And it's crossing over. I don't want to say crossing over into the mainstream, because it's always had that sort of edge to it, but bigger awareness, I suppose, in the last probably 10 years for definite, isn't there?
Well, they had the Netflix show about it, didn't they? A few years. Well, a Netflix series about extreme pastimes, and the cheese roll was one of those. So yeah, there's been a lot of attention on it over the last few years, and enough for BBC to chuck loads of your license fee money at it. Did you attend this year's cheese roll?
I did not, but I will tell
so you didn't break
girl.
your cheese roll duck then?
No, did I bollocks? I said, oh, mate. Morty in the chat there saying, why didn't you tell us last week the cheese roll was on the BBC? Not good telling us after the fact. First of all, I didn't know last week.
I was just going to say,
when it came
did the
out.
BBC run it by you before?
Well, yeah. And secondly, I did actually share the links on Twitter as soon as I realised. So the way I look at it, I've done my part. That's on you, Mort.
Yeah.
Don't know what to tell you. Charlie went to the cheese roll this year.
All right.
She met her cousin, who's like her best friend, who lives at the bottom end of Cooper's Hill, so not far from where the cheese roll actually takes place. And they went to have a little look, and she sent me a picture of where she was. Magsy, the crowds are fucking ridiculous. Absolutely insane.
Absolutely believe it.
Let me see if I can just bring up a little bit of information for you here, because it's obviously, as does everything, has its own dedicated Facebook page.
Because of why not?
Yeah, of course. Which straight away you can see has nearly 8,000 followers already.
Because there's not much else going on in Gloucester, is there?
Well, not really, mate. No, not since they they found out and locked up old Fred. There's not a lot going on.
Me and the wife binge watched the new Netflix series about old Fred and Rose.
Okay.
That was interesting.
Did it have any twists in the tale? Or
I mean, he killed himself and she was found guilty. I don't know if it's spoilers. There were no new information in it. There were no new information. It was literally the same thing repackaged. But I kept interjecting with them, saying, "Oh, Sal were really good friends with the Wests. Used to knock around with them all the time." It's like, really?
It's 95 he got. Was it 95 he got nicked, or 95 he killed himself?
Was they not both the same?
Wasn't it?
Yeah.
It was New Year's Day he killed himself.
Because Rose had blanked him in court.
Yeah.
So he knew that she was going to sell him down the river.
So that I was 14 at that point. So, and a lad, so not his, I suppose, target area. I suppose I wasn't part of the Fred West catchment zone potentially.
Lucky for you.
But it wouldn't surprise me if I'd spent time in the same places as him about realizing it was him at the time. He used to go to he was apparently very regular in a couple of pubs that I used to. Well, no, not at 14 though. 15 or 16, I was getting in the pubs.
Should have been quite dead.
There's a couple of cafes down Bristol Road that he used to go into, and one of them recently they tore up the flooring because they thought he might have hidden more bodies in there. That only happened like in the last 18 months.
In the EastEnders style, they buried a body in the cafe.
in the Bristol Road in Gloucester, which is a big road, loads of like industrial sites and retail place, a really busy long stretch of road. There's lots of little greasy spoons and so on, and he was a regular in a couple of those. Being in the building trade, all the building supplies were down that road as well. So I imagine you go pick your kit up and then go have a bit of breakfast or whatever. He was down there a lot. He did a lot of work for one cafe in particular, and one of the girls who are because there's still like so many that are linked to the Wests.
Yeah,
that haven't been found or haven't been proven.
I think at the end of the documentary, this said, because it was the whole thing about his brother and this kind of like cult surrounding a barn, and they were saying that there's potentially 20 to 30 people unaccounted for who could possibly be linked to the Wests.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. And one of them, there was a huge theory that this girl had been killed by the Wests, and then her remains have been disposed of in the place he was working at the time, like he was burying people under the
concrete, essentially.
Yeah, exactly. And they looked into it, dug part of it up, and so on, but nothing was found there. So yeah, but there you go. Yeah, just the little idea as to how much the cheese roll does and works for this little community in Brockworth in Gloucester, and it's kind of the other side of Gloucester to me. But
like the posh
kids. It is part of Brockworth itself is a massive. Brockworth itself is a massive area. It's a huge area, and you have old Brockworth and new Brockworth, and one part is incredibly posh, and the other part is not so much. So yeah, but the Castle Hill Primary School in Brockworth. So the little tiny kiddies, their year 2 helped wrap the cheese and get it all ready for the rolls and preparation. I don't know if you can make any of this out. There's no faces of the kids, so I believe I'm okay to show this. Just working away. I don't know if you can make it out there. Is that clear, or is it not really coming out properly? You can make out kind of what they're doing, can't you? As they're sort of wrapping the cheese and getting it ready and so on. There. The area more wrapping was done at a community centre, so the elderly were helping with wrapping the cheese and so on as well. And there was loads of money raised as well. People would sell parking spaces, so their driveways or parts of the field, or the rugby club would sell the rugby pitch was the £10 to park your car, and a lot of that went to charity as well. It's unbelievable how many people turn up, Maxie. It is deep with people. And my daughter sent me a picture where she went, and she's not a short lass. She takes after my side of the family. She's quite tall for her age, and she was could see just the back of people's heads where it was just rammed, just for people chasing a bit of cheese. It blows my mind.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it on the surface it's daft, but what a cool thing for the community to come together, and like you said, raising money for charity, and what a nice thing. And as ridiculous as it is, it's the eccentricity of it that makes it stand out.
Yeah,
it's daft, and it's unashamedly daft.
The thing that always gets me, and there might be people who know the answer to this, I'm assuming there would be, like historians and whatever, or even people just in our chat now might be able to look it up, I don't know. But how did that start? Because the furthest back written records, are 100 years, 1826 or whatever, 200 years, 1826, I think was the first back records. But there's discussions and other evidence showing it goes back as far as 500 years. How did that begin? Who thought, let's chase a bit of cheese down a hill for some sport or for some fun? And why? According
to Google AI, it says the first written evidence of it happening was in 1826. And it says, whilst the exact origins are unclear, it's believed to be a tradition that predates the written record by a long way. So it's been done for years before that.
Yeah, I read somewhere 500 years.
Yeah, some theories suggest it may have been a pagan ritual or a way for farmers to secure grazing rights upon the hill.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go. There you go. But that was it, Maxie.
So,
Just thought interesting little bit of a, you know, low cost stuff going on for me. The cheese rolls. Again, I didn't go. I watched a bit on the BBC, but
because you love taking part in community events, don't you? You're
fair
a
enough,
you're
fair
a
enough.
very community-minded person.
Fair enough. Well, it started raining on one of the last races. I just thought, well, I'm fucking glad I'm not there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and but you've had an absolute drought down your end, haven't you, in Gloucester?
Yeah, it was raining today, thankfully. Raining today, but yeah, it's been very, very dry. But don't mind that, mate. Bit of sun, you know. Bit of sun.
Because
Bit of
I
sunshine.
have a person I follow on YouTube, a farmer, and he's based in Gloucester, and he said they've been screaming for rain for about a month or so. His crops are like desperate for raining, but yeah, we're in the middle now of a massive downpour for the next week or so. That's fun.
Okay.
Update on the chicken news.
Oh yes, and your rapist duck.
There's nothing changed yet. The parts for the new coop were delayed because of bank holiday, so they've only just been delivered today. So hopefully tomorrow we'll be putting the new coop up. But yeah, it's still raping away. We've absolutely no care for any attempt to like stop him from doing it. We cordoned off a section of the coop with chicken wire. He found a way over that to continue his rapey ways. There was one point where so the door to the shed that they sleep in it's lockable, and then they've got like a chicken hatch to like pop out of, so they can get in and out. We closed the door so he couldn't get out, and he was in there on his own. He figured out how to open the chicken hatch and got out and continued in his rapey ways. The amount of times he has been hosed down, he definitely gets more excited because of that. So yeah, thankfully his season of rapiness ends in early August. But one poor chicken has to put up with that until we build a coop. Today's not been as rapey. But we did research on why ducks get so rapey. So apparently he needs between 4 and 6 females to satisfy his ducky needs. And a duck's penis is horrific looking. It looks like
I'll take your word for it, mate.
it looks like a question mark drawn by somebody with Parkinson's, and it's 8 inches long when he fires it out. So imagine essentially an 8-inch hook that is barbed everywhere, like, and a poor chicken has to put up with that. It's horrific. I don't know how the ducks put up with it. The female ducks have now started to shout when he's going into rape mode to warn the chickens that he's feeling rapey.
My goodness.
So even his own species are against his rapey activities.
Why? Oh dear me.
Anyway, that's an update.
Well, I'm glad that, because people would have been wondering. Let's be honest.
I would not be. I'd be doing the show a disservice if I didn't tell the CWF about Archie the rapey duck.
Yes, indeed. Indeed. I got in my head now, you said about it's coming towards the end of his rapey season. In my head, I've just got an image now of when Bugs Bunny and Daffy Duck used to argue and go, "It's duck season. It's
rape
rabbit
season."
I got just an image of your duck going, "It's rape season." Oh, we're going to get kicked off YouTube now. Okay, tell you what, let's go to the non-wrestling topic, Maxie, shall we, if we haven't got anything else to cover?
I mean, we could go through some of the chat. There's been quite a few comments.
Okay.
So I think we'll do that first. So we'll start with this one. I mean, we've already covered it. It says, but why did you tell us last week about the cheese rolling being on the BBC? It's because the BBC didn't run it by him, Morty.
Well, they didn't
So,
advertise it, did they?
yeah.
If
I mean,
anything,
it advertises
be
itself.
disgusted. I'd be disgusted if you were a cheese rolling fan and you weren't aware that you had live coverage on the BBC. Write to the BBC and complain.
Yeah, exactly. Connor says sooner or later somebody's going to start a cult over the cheese roll and worship the cheese somehow. I think in Gloucester that kind of already happens because once cheese roll season is over, the only thing to wait around for is the next cheese roll season. It's pretty tough going for entertainment down in Gloucester.
It depends who you are, really, because there is actually a lot to do. I just don't have much interest in it. Like, we're a massive rugby city, like fanatical about our rugby. There's so many local rugby clubs that do, that are at a really good standard and do very well for themselves. Like Matson, for example, my wife's team, she's gone and watched them in 3 cup finals over the last week. They've done fantastically well. Of course, Gloucester Rugby is a top flight team as well. I just don't have really interest in it.
You just don't give a shit.
No, so when the cheese rolling's finished, I just got to wait for the next cheese rolling.
Exactly. Next we'll go to Morty, who says the chihuahua in his stomach is furious.
That will make sense if you listen to the Wrestling News Time Machine in 2 weeks' time.
Yeah, I'll put that in my calendar. Matt says, so you haven't disc golfed, and he says but we mean you, and you haven't gone cheese rolling. Yeah, he's just not a Gloucester. For someone who lives in Gloucester, spent their whole life in Gloucester, he's not very patriotic about Gloucester.
Wow, what can I say? I haven't disc golfed. No, I don't think disc golfing is a very Gloucester thing, is it?
No, but it's something to do in the Gloucester area.
Oh, that's true. Everyone found me a course, didn't they, a while back?
Literally in spitting distance. But then again, people have said watch certain movies and watch certain TV programs, and you go, do you know what? I'm going to do that, and you don't do it. So I don't know why people are surprised.
Me and Sharon were talking about this earlier. We like to have like a TV show that we can watch together and so on. Even if we can watch like one episode here and there to try and fit it in with what we're doing. We're watching Stranger Things at the moment. No spoilers, anyone. Don't do it because Sharon will be fucking fuming. I'll be fuming.
I've never watched it.
You don't want her across. I'll tell you that now. We looked at the time, how long the episodes are in the last season that's available, because the last season is coming out soon. The last season that's available, we're halfway through. The next few episodes clock in at like an hour and 30 minutes.
Yeah, the film level. Yeah,
an hour and 41 minutes. And we're always saying to each other, we ain't got time to sit down and watch a film together. But we're watching these, which is probably longer than some movies.
Yeah, I mean, I say, me and Lorraine say it all the time. Oh, we ain't got time to watch a film, but then a series will come on Netflix and we'll absolutely binge it.
Yeah.
So we can happily find we can find 8 hours to watch a full season, but 2 hours to watch a film. No, it's a weird kind of mindset that people have. Back to Matt, he says, Connor, I've actually done that, meaning worshipping cheese somehow, I'm assuming. In D&D. More D&D to come later. Spoilers. Steve in the chat. Defcore, Defcam, Dashcam, Defcore. Says, evening, gentlemen. Just saying hi, and we'll be listening in for a bit, and we'll listen to audio on the rest. You know, we fucking love you, Steve. You're absolutely
He's
amazing.
A top bloke, isn't he? Top.
Matt, welcome Steve in. And then he says, Cheese Rolling Festival is believed to be over 600 years old. I'll have to ask Graham about that. He'd have been about... Graham won the first ever cheese roll. That's why. Morty says, yes, the reason that we're all here. Mags and rapist duck updates. Matt, sounds like my ex-boyfriend. What did your ex-boyfriend was? A duck, and B, had a rape season. That's interesting.
Right, no, he typed that, I think, in reference to the penis that looked like a question mark.
You're assuming?
I think, yes.
So Mort says, adding a duck's penis is disgusting looking to the Chain Wrestling Quote Hall of Fame. I mean, there isn't any more room in that Hall of Fame because this show is infinitely quotable.
We should do that. We should ask people for their favourite stupid quotes that we've ever made, and just make a list of them.
There you go. Next week's non-wrestling. Well, not next week's, but a future non-wrestling topic.
Yeah. Steve-O will just make Twitter melt down of how many replies he will have.
Yeah, it would just be the Steve-O non-wrestling topic section.
And I'm okay with that.
Yeah, absolutely. Matt says in more ways than one. Unfortunately, I think he's still talking about his ex-boyfriend. You sound very bitter about that. Morty says, "Oh, great, your rapey duck shares a name with my granddad and nephew. Brilliant. I mean, that's why I named him, because specifically for your granddad and nephew, because I knew he would turn out to be a duck rapist, duckist.
Whose nephew is going to be a duck rapist?
No, the duck, Archie the duck, would end up being raped.
That's what it sounded like you said. Then.
So Morty says, Sharon, I've been telling for months to watch Devil's Hours. Devil's Hour, get on it. Also, very glad you're watching Stranger Things. I was shocked that Si hadn't seen it. I was not shocked at all, not in the slightest. I mean, this is a guy who hasn't seen many very popular films.
I'm better now. Films maybe not so much, but I'm better now with TV. I've seen a lot more good TV. But I get annoyed, mate. I get so annoyed. We watched oh bloody hell, Sharon, what was that program From? Have you seen From?
I may have. Can't. Is it an old show? I don't think it's new.
It's still going now. It's still going now.
Well, then no. I've never seen it.
And it's like 12 episodes a season or whatever, and it's kind of a little bit Walking Dead. It's a little bit Lost. It's kind of all that.
Okay.
It's about people who are driving, and they drive into a village in like the middle of America sort of thing. But once you're in the village, you can't leave.
Okay.
So every time you drive out, you drive back in again, and you're like, what the fuck's going on? And at night, these creepy things come out, and if you're out and about, they rip you a bits. So it's, a bit Walking Dead, a bit Lost, a bit, and it's creepy, and it's really, really good. But eventually, after watching the first, I think 3 seasons, all in pretty tight, close timings to each other, I realised that for something to happen, I've got to sit through 4 episodes of people just sat about chatting.
And you got pissed off with it.
Yeah, it does my nut, mate. And I realised a lot of things like that. Breaking Bad, as brilliant as Breaking Bad was, so much of it was just people sat about chatting. And you could have trimmed that.
A lot of filler.
It just does my box.
The issue with stuff like that is there'll be 1 or 2 things in a certain episode, in every episode, that'll be important to the story.
Yeah.
But then you've got 40 minutes of filler.
Yeah, that's it.
To stretch it over. And one thing that I really detest, and it's being spoiled by streaming services, is catching up on a show all the way to the current episode and then having to wait for the next season to come out. It just absolutely boils my piss. So now I'd rather a show finished, so then I can watch it all like in bingeable amounts, rather than I've caught up now, I have to wait a whole year for the next season to be, and it's spoiled. It's spoiled by streaming services, but I just detest it. I'd rather wait.
Yeah, me and Shara are the same. So that's why we try and watch stuff that has already finished. So Stranger Things was a bit of a gamble because the last season is coming out very soon, but we know it's the last one. So
the last season, yeah.
Yeah.
So we've got a couple of recommendations. First of all, Sharon says to Morty, one thing at a time. She can't push you too much. But Matt says From is amazing.
Yeah, it is good.
Morty says Devil's Hour isn't American, so it isn't as stretched out, and it's got Capaldi in it. Now, I'm hoping that's Peter Capaldi, the brilliant actor, and not Lewis Capaldi, the average singer.
What's the racing car driver's name?
Emerson Fittipaldi.
No, Lewis Hamilton, isn't it?
Yeah.
Is it Hamilton? Yeah, okay. Yeah. That's somebody else again then.
It's not even remotely the same.
No, that's what I thought you were going to say. Sorry, carry on.
No. Connor says, I recommend No Land with Tom Hardy and Pierce Brosnan if you like violent crime shows. You know what I started watching and give up on within 2 episodes because I was fuming with it?
Sesame Street.
Come on. Everybody loves Sesame Street. I could watch with long day. No. So you must have watched the movie Snatch.
Yes.
They made a TV show version of it.
Did they?
Yeah, and it's got Ron Weasley in it from Harry Potter. And it's
as Ron Weasley.
No, he plays a different character, but that's the only thing.
A whole different film.
Yeah, I mean that'd be weird. Rocking up in Expelliarmus in the middle of that of London. But yeah, it's not good. Not good at all. They're trying to recapture the kind of the lightning in a bottle of Snatch. Very similar stories, very similar kind of like Cockney wild boy gangster characters, but it's awful. I watched 3 episodes of it and I gave up to it. I will never finish that show. Just
you know what?
Ridiculous.
I've seen on like Netflix are the ones who do it a great deal. I think when they've had a really good movie. Dusk Till Dawn, there you go, there's one, Dusk Till Dawn. And they make a TV show of it. But sometimes the TV show is a prequel.
Right.
I think I've said about this on the show before. And when you get movies that are prequels or origin stories and all this sort of stuff, it just sounds shit. Because, like, whenever that character is in a bit of peril or in a bit of danger, they ain't going to fucking die.
Because they're in the film. Yeah, I get that. But it is sometimes good to know how that character came to be. But I do get your point of it takes away any kind of element of danger because you know that they're going to be in
Hannibal.
Hannibal was fucking good though. Hannibal was.
I've not watched it.
No, it was really, really good, but it got cut before the show had finished its run. So the last. I think about 3 or 4 episodes were so rushed to tie up the loose ends. You could tell that story had lots more legs to go. It was brilliant for like, I think they did 3 seasons, maybe 4 seasons. And then the last 4 episodes where they rushed through all the storylines. Yeah, that it ruined it. So Steve was saying I lasted that long into Snatch, I'm assuming. He lasted 2 minutes, yeah. It even traces a lot of the same stories. Like Snatch is all about the diamond going missing and who ends up like being like getting hold of it. This one's about some bank robbery gold, and that keeps like reoccurring through the episodes. But yeah, I don't even care about the story. Usually I'll watch just out of morbid curiosity, just because I'd need to know what happens. But yeah, I gave up to that very, very quickly.
I won't bother then. I won't bother.
I mean, you weren't going to anyway. Even if I said it was fucking brilliant.
I wasn't. They want to maybe do it with Ron Weasley as the magician in the Snatch universe. I'd watch that.
Like a Ron Weasley origin story.
No, but in Snatch.
He is that person. I mean, he's not exactly.
I know he's that person, but I mean,
he's not the best actor in the world. He's definitely not called Ron Weasley. I can't even remember what his name is. But
that's what I mean.
He acts like Ron Weasley
in the gangster universe. That'd be funny.
Well,
he could just wave his little magic wand and make even more cocaine.
He's had a try at being in the Snatch universe, and he wasn't funny, and he was awful. So I think adding a Ron Weasley element to it, it's kind of like putting lipstick on a pig.
Okay. There's a comment here in the chat from my son that says the only good prequels are the Star Wars ones, and I'm just going to stop there because I'm not interested in anything else that he says. As soon as he mentions Star Wars, I'm done.
Yeah. That's some horrific takes there, Liam. He says the
only
gives backstory to Anakin. I mean, it ruined the story of Darth Vader, making him. It tried to paint him as a sympathetic a bad guy, and he wasn't. He was a prick. Darth Vader was a
that's the
prick.
thing.
He should have stayed a prick.
Yeah. You don't
Who
want
wants
to
to
like
know?
Darth Vader.
Yeah, who wants? Yay! Come on, Darth, get with Padme. Yay! No, he were a dickhead.
It's weird anyway, right? Star Wars is basically just intergalactic incest. Everyone wants to fuck their sister in those movies.
That happens one time, and it's by an
Once
accident.
is enough. Once by accident. Oh yeah, okay. Maxie, shall we do the non-wrestling topic now since we're 45 minutes in and we've just talked about absolute fucking nonsense?
I mean, you did say before the show we're going to need to bulk this out because I've got fuck all. So let's do the non-wrestling topic.
Let's get ready to rumble!
Non-wrestling topic time.
Good God Almighty, there will be no wrestling talk here. Business is about to pick up on chain wrestling. Side Lord Max, please cut it out.
Are you sitting comfortably?
We're back. Hello.
How do you? I mean, you make these intro videos and these. How did you not know?
Well, two reasons. One, I still can't always hear them, so when they're coming to their end, I don't actually know. And two, when I make them, I'm normally under the influence a little bit. Yes. That's why you get the finished article emailed to you at 4 a.m. So Maxie, look what I made.
With words spelt wrong. Well, not even just words, people. Names. Actual names spelled wrong. We've been told off anyway. Liam says he will say that the baby's watching as well. The language is atrocious. Apologies, but you started with the blasphemous, the prequel trilogy is all right nonsense. So you got us wound up, and we apologize for it.
You named my beautiful, amazing, incredible granddaughter after Star Wars bullshit. So I'm not going to go along. I don't care. And also, when you say about language, she did swear the other day, apparently, my granddaughter. She went, oh, shit. And apparently, that's my fault.
I mean, I have no context of why, but I would say, yeah, it's the odds are it was very much your fault.
Yeah, probably. Probably. I mean, I was trying to get her to say it, to be fair.
Yes, he did, and he would do it again. Next child's game called Yoda.
You need the snip. You don't need no more fucking kids, mate. I'll tell you that now. I ain't even joking. Look, no smile on my face. Let's move on before I get cross. Yes, this week's non-wrestling topic was inspired by something that has happened very, very close to me. I'm trying to look for the screenshot now. There it is. Right. It's from my old senior school. I went to Churchdown School in Gloucester. And my... who would they be? My cousins... Anyway, someone I know's kids go there now. Obviously, we have the huge situation of anyone taking kids out of school during term time to go on holiday can get massively fined.
Mm-hmm.
I have different opinions on this. It's very difficult to... I think a great deal of it is bullshit, but you always get a select few that ruin it for everybody else. And you get those parents who are basically shit at their roles and don't look after their kids properly. And it's to stop them doing it. When you get other parents who are very good and look after their kids and education is important, they want to take them away for a week and they get punished because of people and so on and so forth. But regardless, that's the rules as it is, Maxie, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I'm like you. I can see both sides of the coin. At the end of the day, I think education is the most important thing for a child. You want to give that child as much of a leg up in life to go on and be massively successful. But half-term time holidays are so ridiculously expensive now that it's almost like you have to break the rules to be able to afford to give your children the opportunity to have a holiday. So there needs to be some sort of either balance or maybe some sort of reform in the holiday structure, that there isn't this massive price rise in holidays when the kids break up from school. So I don't know how they would do it, but it's a damned if you do, damned if you don't kind of situation.
Well, I think it's a virtually impossible thing to enforce and police. It's freedom of enterprise. We're a free country. They can set their prices when they want for what they want, however they want to do it.
Absolutely.
So
yeah.
it's going to be incredibly difficult to do. And it
I
does
mean,
make the
you
question
could-
come, doesn't it? What comes first, the chicken or the egg? What came first, the price rises or the term time holidays? It's
you could stagger the school holidays so that every school in the area isn't on holiday at the same time, but then you're gonna have a big area with no kids at school, whilst all the other kids are still at school. So it's hard to find a solution, I suppose.
Yeah, very difficult. And they've obviously got to meet certain teaching criteria throughout the term. And if half terms are staggered all over the place, it means they're going to be having to reschedule the curriculums and the timing of stuff as well. So yeah, it's incredibly difficult. But anyway, what our wrestling topic is about is how some people who tend to be in positions of authority, is what we were going for, kind of think the rules don't apply to them, or they kind of bend the rules. And the reason this was inspired by Churchland School is because the school and the headmaster themselves sent out an email, which I will read you some of the highlights from now. Dear parents and carers, this is from the headmaster. I wanted to write to you all to share some arrangements for the end of the summer term. With the support of the trustees, I have made the decision to take unpaid leave for the last 3 weeks of term 6. In this time, such and such will act as head teacher. I will then resume my full duties from the first day of the summer holidays, after the summer holidays, as is normal practice. I intend to return to work and continue as head teacher in September, and will be present at the GCSE results day as well. Well, that's very kind of him, isn't it? Thanks for turning up for that one day. The reason for my leave is entirely positive. I'm glad for you. And I am very grateful to the trustees and the school boards for working with me so this can be achieved. I applied for this period of leave last year, with the reason being to spend more time with my family. Something that at times I am unable to do within my current working life. 6 weeks off in the summer, you can. I have been working with the leadership team and the trustees since my application for leave to ensure the operations of the school and your child's educations are not impacted. All executive functions of leading this school will have been completed by myself before I leave. If you wish to discuss this matter further, blah, 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 and email and request a call back, which you probably won't fucking get. Trust me, we've tried with the school. It's nonsense. Now, I appreciate sometimes things go on behind the scenes that we're not aware of. So this teacher may be having health issues or mental health issues, or family may be having issues that require his attention away from school as well. Yeah, we got a comment there saying reading between the lines he's going into rehab. Who knows? I get all that, but the fact that he's stating this has been requested a year ago, and it's 3 weeks off, and it's just before the summer holidays and all that sort of stuff. When I know somebody, the week that email came out, was issued a fine for taking their kids out of school for 3 days to go abroad with them. I think it's it makes a little bit of a mockery of what the system is. I mean, if there is something up with this guy, good luck to him. I hope he gets all the help he needs and so on. But we can only go by the face value of the email that people were sent. He says it's a positive situation and it's to spend time with his family and so on. So you can understand the uproar that this letter has caused. Well, again, when you take it at face value, because there may have been other reasons behind it. That's the reason for this week's non-wrestling topic. I want to see about other people's situations in work or in life in general, Magsy, wasn't it? If people have come across scenarios like this themselves, I guess, wasn't it?
Yeah. I mean, I think the guy deserves a holiday.
Okay.
I mean, dealing with the riff-raff of Gloucester kids.
Oh, I went to that school, mate. It's rough.
3 weeks is not enough. I think it shouldn't be unpaid. I think he should be paid for those 3 weeks off.
Okay.
No, your point is absolutely valid. I mean, he literally says he's coming back after the school holidays, so whatever he needed to do, he could have done in that time, surely, like all the parents would be expected to do. As you said, somebody who received a fine for missing 3 days, and he's missing 3 weeks, and his role would be way more important than the role of one random kid missing 3 days of school. He's literally the leader of that school. Yes. Yeah.
But that was kind of the catalyst for what we were thinking of, wasn't it? Where you've got somebody who is bucking not their own rules, obviously. Thank you, my love. It's my wife just bringing me a cup of tea. Thank you so much. It was a catalyst for what we're looking at this week on Chain Wrestling. And my word, did we get some responses, Magsy? My word.
We did. Some quality responses. So let's get into them.
Well, some people grasped what we were after a little bit better than some others. Jimmy. But we'll get into them. So yeah, the options obviously we gave as examples were bosses at work, police, authority figures. What are you thinking? Jimmy Evans was the first one to respond, Magsy, because I'll read them out in the order they came into us. And Jimmy just responded, bosses and authority figures. Yeah, fuck them, fight the system.
It's just a general that bosses and authority figures are wankers. Spot on, Jimmy. Exactly. Spot on.
Good Cop, Bad Cop Wrestling Podcast at Good Bad Wrestle on Twitter. They say, as a teacher, when I go back to
I've got that one.
Have you not? Okay.
No.
As a teacher, when I go to pick up my son from his elementary school after school program, I park in the parking lots because that is what it's used for. Everyone else parks directly outside the room in the fire lane, and that clearly says, do not park here at any time. I wish they would tow them. Now, fire lane, I'm assuming, Magsy, is just access for fire engines, because we don't have anything specifically named that way in this country, do you?
Yeah, I would assume like emergency services.
Yeah.
So it keeps the road clear.
I appreciate that. Why parking? I mean, that's maybe not an authority figure bending the rules for themselves, but it is a situation that I think quite a few of our answers slip into.
I absolutely
people thinking the rules don't apply.
Yeah, I hate it. I mean, one is that used to really wind me up, and it's kind of like a double-edged sword, because I hate the fact that it's a rule in the first place, but I also hate when people blatantly break the rules, because I wouldn't break the rules. When it's time for all the kids to come out of school, and the teachers will go and corn off all the roads so nobody can park. I hate that rule, because roads are there to be basically for the cars. But when you see people think that rule doesn't apply to them, and they go and park on and you think, I'm parking 5 streets away to go and pick my kids up from school, and this wanker is parked right outside the school, and we don't want to have to walk all these streets, but he's done it and nothing's happened to him. The teachers haven't come out and gone, oh, you've got to move on or anything like that. They've just put cones out, and so just people in cars boil my piss. Absolutely boil my piss. There's just so many issues I have with them. I'm sure we'll get to more of them later on.
Imagine so, mate. I imagine so. MGB Graham at MGB Graham on Twitter. He says, more of an unwritten rule, but put your trolley cart back where they belong after you have finished using them and not in an adjacent parking spot in shrubbery, etc., etc. If you are physically able to. Can't being arsed is not an acceptable excuse. Fucking twats.
So that used to be a massive thing that pissed me off as well. But now, most trolleys in the UK, you need a coin to get them out of the chain of trolleys. So most people will take it back to get their coin back. So I think that problem's been kind of solved in the most part here in the UK.
And this resulted in a big discussion between Pig's Bladders and Graham as well, arguing back and forth about working out. We should fire everyone who is employed to retrieve the trolleys. They should all be automated. It got a bit silly, Magsy, I'm not gonna lie. But when I worked for Timpson's, the key cutting place, they're situated right outside supermarkets, and the one I worked in was right outside the Gloucester Asda.
We've got one in our local Tesco. It's literally just like a cabin in the car park.
That's it. That's what I was doing. Yes, that's what I was doing. If you ever wonder what happened to all those toothless weirdos that used to appear on the Jeremy Kyle show back in the day, just go to the Asda in Gloucester. They're all fucking there. That's where they are now. But there was a little Italian fella. He was 70 odd. He must have been fucking less than 5 foot, and he started work at 6:30 in the morning. Worked till about 2, 3 o'clock.
Proper grafted.
His only job was collecting the trolley, because Asda in Gloucester is vast. It is a big old place, and the car park is huge. It was one of the first buildings I can remember being built as a kid, and everything else was built around it. So this is a huge space. This little guy, I've seen him in the chucking down rain, winds that are fucking horizontal, tottering about with his little hood pulled up, collecting 1 or 2 trolleys at a time because he can't push more than that at once. And that's how he'd spend his whole day. So the idea of him losing his job to automate trolleys and all that sort of
exactly.
I mean,
I know our local Tesco, one of the guys has it's like a powered trolley pusher, but he can stack 50 trolleys onto that, and then he essentially controls it like a motorbike.
Oh, okay. That's quite cool. Quite cool. Connor at Connor Knows Footy on Twitter. He says, there's a yellow lane outside my workplace that's clearly marked as fire lane, do not park.
Oh, another fire lane.
Yeah. But apparently, tourists and local people, so I think that covers
everybody, surely.
Yes, people who live there and people who don't live there. Don't think this rule applies to them, because I see at least 2 people a day there, and those people end up with $200 ticket on their car. Well, at least they're getting punished. That's the main thing, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
I hate people in cars, as I've said. Another massive bugbear of mine is now we often have our grandkids in the car, so we won't always do it, but if it's available, we'll use the parent-child parking spots, because obviously we've got like
this is your right, yeah,
2-year-old, 3-year-old in the car. But it boils my piss when you see somebody pull up to the last parent-child parking space and just a solitary adult gets out, and you think, you absolute tosser. You just so little thought for anybody else. And it's not like the car park is empty. We obviously can go and find another parking spot, but it's the thought that that's there to benefit a certain group, and you just thought, you know what, I want to be as close to the supermarket as I can get. I'm going to take that spot, even though I've got no kids with me whatsoever. Pricks.
Again, in Gloucester, you see that a lot. and you tend to find, and I am stereotyping here, and I was going to say I apologise, but we all know that I don't care that much. You tend to find, I'd say, 8 out of 10 times, they're the ones who are driving the BMWs, the Audis,
Yeah.
and they get out there dressed in a certain way, and they walk in a certain way, and they're going in to get their 20 embassy number ones, like fucking imp
What
bastards
a
they are.
throwback.
Do you know what I mean? Yeah, that's the kind of
Yeah,
vibe they put
just
forward, you know.
Rules for thee and not for me.
Yeah, exactly, mate. Exactly. Andy from at Bang Bang Podcast, he says, "Can I nominate referees? Referees who are complete shithouses when they play football, and then total jobsworths when they ref." Now, I assumed he was referencing amateur football here, Sunday League, Saturday League, when he used to play himself. So I asked the question, did you experience this yourself? And Andy responded, yes, the bloke didn't give us a blatant penalty and a few obvious fouls. I told him I'd remember it when we played against him next. So threatening there. Brilliant.
Yeah.
I hope it was with pointy finger as well. I hope Andy brought out the pointy finger and goes, oh, you wait.
I feel that this happened 20 years ago and Andy's never forgot it.
Still boils his piss.
Yeah, and every time he sees this guy who quite possibly has got a debilitating illness now, he still hates him with a passion.
Well, he does finish his follow-up saying that I told him I'd remember it, and I'd get him when we played him next. The first chance I got, the fucker went straight up in the air. So he just two-footed the guy.
So
Fantastic.
he basically did a Roy Keane on Alfinger Haaland.
Yeah. And that
Brilliant.
was justified, as was Andy's.
Justified, literally taking the man's leg off and ending his career. Justified.
Yeah, he played for Man City and Leeds, mate. What a scumbag.
He was scumbag.
He was. Chat, Grapple, and Cheap Pops at Chat Grapple Pops on Twitter. They say he worked with a guy that was late for his disciplinary. Disciplinary was given for excessive lateness.
As bad as that is, I love the consistency.
Yeah. Level. Know exactly what you're getting. May not like it, but you know what you're getting.
Yeah, exactly. You're bollocking him for being him. You knew or you know that he's going to be late. You've given disciplinary. He's going to turn up late to that. You're just pissing against the wind, aren't you? Just change his hours slightly so he makes it on time.
Yeah, you can't always do that, though.
Be a bit more flexible.
Yeah. I wonder if they changed my hours at work. I went for a spell of clocking in at like 8:31, 8:32. The machine would show when I scanned my little fob thing. Now, I get out of bed a few minutes earlier, it's all right. But I wonder if they changed my start time to 8:35 and let me finish 5 minutes later to counterbalance that. If I just start turning up at 8:36.
Have you got some leeway? You may have a bit of leeway. If the clock's not been calibrated.
Oh, I didn't think of that.
So I was in here.
100% using that.
From now on, just set your watch or your phone back a couple of minutes and take a photo of yourself with your phone clocking in.
Yeah.
Just for evidence. Just for evidence sake.
To be fair, I was late. I was naughty.
Yeah, I totally believe you was.
Yeah.
But I'm just trying to give you a defense.
Oh, well, I appreciate that, mate. Thank you. Steve-O at EliteFPL_Steve-O on Twitter. He says, well, by pure coincidence, just recorded a podcast about a certain species of person that go to gyms. The typical Instagram, TikTok wannabe influencer. The rule just does not apply when it comes to gym etiquette. Mm-hmm. These are the posing ladies and so on that he's referencing.
I hate them. I mean, they come up on TikTok all the time, like showing off, oh, look at, I'm doing this workout. And then everybody in the gym has to not cut across their camera. Yeah, I'm glad there's now been a trend of outing these kind of people. Just for the shallow idiots that they are. But yeah, they're fucking well annoying. Absolutely well annoying.
Yeah, you don't go to the gym. You don't know.
No, I'm not. I said I watched them on TikTok. They're not going to annoy me in my gym time because that's non-existent.
Yeah, that's the thing. They're annoying, and I can totally see where they're coming from. But you would still sit there and watch them in their tight clothes on TikTok. Is what you're saying?
No, I watched
Doing their
them.
bending over
I
and
d-
their stretches and.
TikTok algorithm and the videos it sends you is a weird beast.
Is it? Yeah.
But I'll watch to see him get the comeuppance. I don't watch the ones where they're pausing and they're showing the video. I will watch the ones where someone's giving him shit for being such a dickhead in the gym.
Yeah, fair enough.
And it's not always women. Men do it as well. And the men ones are sometimes the better videos because they get into actual farts over it.
Oh, why? Really?
Yeah, because they're
okay.
very vain, pretentious wankers, aren't they?
Well, yeah, I guess. Steve continues. Majority of pure gym members seem to think the rules don't apply. Example being not putting weights away. I mean that's just something in life, isn't it? Putting something back where it belongs.
I hate it. I hate it in the house.
Yeah.
I hate that in my own family. I hate not putting things back or putting things back in a different place to where they were in the first place. So when you want to use that thing, you have to go searching for it. And you'll find it in a cupboard with pans rather than in the cupboard with plates. And
And that's just your hairdryer.
It's always been in the plate cupboard.
When will they learn? Steve says, in the area I live in London, Audi, BMW, here we go. Audi, BMW, and Mercedes drivers, the highway code doesn't apply. Talking of London, there's a specific race of people where they clearly think they're still living in their own country. Let's tread very, very carefully with this one.
Thankfully, he doesn't go into much detail.
He leaves it there. He stops there. Okay, thank goodness. From a wrestling point of view, Vince McMahon, the rules don't apply.
I mean, to be fair to Vince McMahon, he became so powerful in the world of wrestling that he created the rules.
He became so powerful by going against the rules.
Yeah.
When you think about the territory days.
Yeah, absolutely. But he got to a point where he was the only game in town, so
yeah,
he was the rule maker until he decided to break actual laws.
Yeah, okay. Steve continues, I could also say CM Punk, Shawn Michaels, and at a push, Triple H, for the rules not applying to them and doing as they please.
Yeah. I mean, the thing is with applying it to wrestlers and even to like other celebrities and personalities, it's because they have the influence to be able to
the money.
Yeah, the money, the influence, the draw to have them rules not apply to them, or if they don't agree with the rules, to go against them, and who's going to tell them that they can't?
Yeah, this is it. I mean, CM Punk, I think we've covered a great deal about issues that he's had in his career and so on. I don't think we need to dive into those again. Some people agree, some people disagree with him and so on. What I will say is the longer things go since the AEW instance, for example, the more people are realising Punk was right. That's like the guy or not, that's just the way things are shaping up now, it seems, isn't it?
And I've made it abundantly clear. I am not. I wouldn't say I'm a Punk hater, but I'm certainly not. I don't worship at the altar of Punk, and I don't. I haven't always agreed with how he went about. So I think the stuff with Colt Cabana was morally reprehensible, but he is consistent. Mm-hmm. It's not like he just makes snap decisions and he changes how he acts with the blowing of the wind.
Well, it sticks to his guns, doesn't he?
Yeah, he's morally he has got a line, and he doesn't deviate from it. And he's took on the two biggest companies in the wrestling world, and and when he's felt like he's been wronged, he's up sticks and gone. And you've got to like him all over. You've got to give him props for that.
100%. 100%. Shawn Michaels, 100% again. What an absolute prick Shawn was in the 90s. But what springs to my mind with Shawn Michaels getting away with stuff that other guys would not have, for example, his drug intake, his behavior backstage, and so on, is in 95, 96, definitely in 96, Shawn was probably the guy. He was probably the best performer in America. Bell to bell. And it comes back to, okay, 96 going into 97 then, we'll say. Vince lost everyone. Razor had gone, Diesel had gone, Brett was going. He had to keep hold of Shawn. 95, he had to keep hold of Shawn because that's all he had.
So Shawn knew his worth and knew he could get away.
Exactly.
Which if you look
right, but
if you look up and down the history of wrestling, the main guy at any point in the timeline has always had that power to be able to do what the undercard or the mid-carders haven't been able to do. Hogan, Flair, Savage, Austin, all had enough power to be able to do essentially what they wanted.
You've got to look after the Golden Goose. You've got to look after the Moneymaker. Yeah. You've also got to look after the talent. And I don't mean as in the talent, as in the general term, meaning everyone backstage. I mean the talented guys, the elite.
The person that puts the arses in seats and puts money in the tills.
The thing that it sort of links to in my mind is a story about Eric Cantona with Sir Alex Ferguson, because Cantona was a different kettle of fish, and he famously got away. He could behave how he liked. Because he produced on a Saturday. And there's a famous story of a charity meal, and everyone was told you're in the club blazers, club tie, and you dress this particular, because Alex Ferguson was, and I think very rightfully so, he had standards and people dressed a certain way and everyone looking, and if your shoes weren't polished, you're in trouble and all that sort of stuff. And a young Giggsy was there, Lee Sharp was still at the club, Gary Pallister, all dressed a certain way. And then Eric Cantona arrived, and he had shorts, trainers, and a shirt on, walked in, sat down. And a couple of the players, the younger players, went and asked Alex Ferguson how come he can do this and we've got to wear this clobber. And Alex Ferguson apparently leant over to them and said, when you can do what he can do at 3 o'clock on a Saturday, you can wear whatever the fuck you like too, son. Go and sit down. And I think that is the perfect example with the Shawn Michaels stuff as well.
Yeah.
It's like when you can do what he can do bell to bell, and you can... because
you will have those kind of that leeway.
Yeah. Again, I'm not saying it's right, but...
it's the way of the world.
Yeah, there you go. Steve-O continues. There's a theme here, he says in brackets. A certain species of person that, when on public transport, feels the need to not turn the volume down on their phones, so you hear god-awful TikTok doom scrolling, or the moron that chooses to speak on phone at a level louder than a jumbo jet. Oh. Wear headphones, buy headphones. Or
the listening to like people's TikToks and stuff like that, that I can tune that kind of stuff out. But it's when people are having conversations in crowded places on loudspeaker because they can't hold a phone to the ear, but they can hold the bottom of it to the mouth. Oh my God, I fucking hate that. You literally holding it like a phone like that. And you think, just hold the rest of it to your fucking ear. It makes way more sense. Yeah, that pisses me the fuck off. So yeah, I am 100% with Dan on that. So he says on the phone thing, I hate people who insist on having conversations in public on loudspeaker. Hold the fucking phone to your ear or put earphones in. No one wants to hear your chat. You couldn't. It's the thought that they are so important that everybody else's day means nothing to them. Oh
yeah,
this is a horrific topic to bring up.
Steve-O also says, all these things think they are above God and rules do not apply to them whatsoever. I'd happily round them up and ends them like the end of The Great Escape. And then in brackets he says, "Sigh, don't you dare say you've never seen it." I have seen The Great Escape, and also I know not long before we went live, Steve actually shared the clip he's referencing there.
Just so he
tagged
knew
me
that
in it.
you,
So, yeah.
you would, even if you haven't seen
I
it,
have seen
watch
The
this
Great
bit.
It was one of my dad's favourite films, so I used to watch it. I watched it from a very young age with my dad, and when it comes on telly now, it still makes me think of him, to be fair. So, yeah, great stuff. Morty, at MortyJR5 on Twitter, he says, "Horse riders, fuck me." I think that's more of an exclamation than a request.
I don't know. With Morty, it's up in the air.
Okay. I'll try it in a different tone of voice so we can decide, shall we? "Horse riders, fuck me." No, I don't know. I'm not sure that works.
I love the little turn that you made then, though.
That was an inquisitive head turn.
It was.
Horse riders, fuck me. They think they own the roads. Worse than cyclists. At least they don't shit on the road and leave it, except in Gloucester. Fuck me. What's going on with Gloucester today? I was thinking at Gloucester.
Do cyclists in Gloucester regularly drop loads on the road whilst cycling?
Not that I've seen. But we do just have sheep randomly walking our streets, don't we? And that's not an exaggeration for comedy value. That is what happens. And they shit everywhere.
We've there's a couple of sheep farms near where I live, and we've had quite a few escaped sheep recently. And the owner of these sheep just doesn't seem to give a shit because they've been escaping for like about a week, and no, he hasn't been to round them up, or I don't think he's been to round them up, or if he has, they've just escaped again. So we're getting a lot of that. The horses shitting on the road is actually good because you can collect the horse shit and use it as fertilizer for flowers. But
brilliant. I'll start doing that.
I mean, you don't grow things, do you? I mean, your garden is literally a postage stamp. But I'm saying in general.
Understand. What is the thought process there then? You know, you're out with your wife, or your grandkids are in the back of the car, like you said. You've just got angry about someone parking in the child and parent.
They don't shit in Tesco car park.
Stop there, love. Stop there, Mrs. Maggs. There's a turd on the road. Let me fetch the carrier bags. What the fuck?
I'm not saying I would go out a distance to collect it.
So what's your cut off then? End of your road?
Well, end of my drive.
Okay, right. So someone has to specifically shit on your property, and then it's yours, is it?
No, not on the road outside my house, and it has happened because we do have we have a couple of horse paddocks up near us, so sometimes we do get horses defecating, and I've got rose bush in my front garden, so that gets fed with horse poop.
So what did you go out with a shovel, or
do
you have special horse shit gloves, or what do you do?
No, I don't. I don't make physical contact with the shit. I just pick it up with a shovel or a spade, and then take it straight to the roses, dig it into the soil a little bit. There we go. I don't see how is that? How am I a wrong un for doing that?
Before you stipulated that it was like at the end of your drive is the cutoff.
I don't go searching Burnley. I don't go following like horses just in case they shit. It's just if it's in my. So where I live, there's a lot of farmland. We do get a lot of tractors, and we do get the odd horses.
Okay, all right. I'm glad. I don't know what the problem is with horses, to be fair.
I don't know what the fucking problem is, Si. You've made it a problem.
Right. No, I haven't. Morty's the one who's brought it up. It's not fucking me. Also, with horses, they're animals. You've got to go wide with them and slow down because you don't want to scare the horse, do you?
Yeah.
They can't be worse than cyclists.
No, cyclists are way worse.
Okay.
Cyclists are worse because when you come to like a traffic lights, they'll just sneak up at the side of you. That annoys. I mean, I know they are legally entitled to do it as someone who has motorbikes. I know about filtering and you can get yourself to the front of the lane. But the difference between someone on a motorbike is they can take off at speed you can set back off at speed, so you're not hindering the person who you're next to. A cyclist obviously has to pick that speed up again, and if you're making a right turn and there's a cyclist at the side of you, and you've got to wait for him to go across the junction, that's piss boiling. So cyclists are worse. Horses wouldn't be in that situation. They would avoid traffic at all costs. And yeah, I ain't got a problem with horse riders. That I'm fine with them. So fuck Morty rather than the horse rider.
Okay. I'm glad we cleared that up. Christopher Lewis on Twitter at Chris Lewis 37.
The best Lewis.
Says
the best Lewis in the world.
Yeah, definitely the strength of that partnership, 100%.
Yeah. Oh, Max punching up. Definitely
No,
punching
without
up.
a doubt, mate. 100%. 100%. I just hope for your sake he never sobers up, Matt. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah.
You know?
He never gets a donk on the head and goes, oh, what the fuck have I done for the last decade of my life? With this shower of shit.
Fuck me. All right. I think there's a line.
And then Matt rocks up from his work pretending to be a chef in hospital, and Chris just has his bags packed and says, "You out."
We love you, Matt.
Yeah. Many years together. Many happy years.
Are you done? Okay.
I wish it's a decade. It's only 7 years. So technically, you've got 3 more years of riding his coattails before he's going to wake up and smell the roses.
The roses that you've just thrown a fucking horse shit on, I expect, yes?
There we go. They grow the best roses, believe you me.
Brown ones, I would assume.
No, very
Chris
red.
Says,
don't you dig my roses out.
I don't fucking care. Can I read Chris's tweet, please? Can we just leave the roses alone now? Chris says, extremely niche, but the people of Frinton-on-Sea, literally just one time, fuck those people.
Of wankers. This town of pricks. I hate everybody here.
We want a great escape,
including you,
machine
Matt,
gun the whole of Frinton. Dear me. The people of Frinton-on-Sea. A few memorable stories, but one that stands out most was years ago, an older guy got stopped by police for no tax or insurance on his car. And his response was, I'm only driving inside the gates. Is it fenced off this time? Matt, let us know. How's that work? He's only driving inside the gates.
Is it a gated community? But surely,
or is it like where you live, like a mansion on top of the hill?
It is on top of a hill. It's not. I wish it was a mansion. But yeah, it sounds like it's a gated community. But surely, like, laws apply. It's not free for all once those gates are closed. Surely to God,
like
the Hunger Games. Yeah.
There you go. He does continue here, Chris. For context, Frinton has a level crossing at the entrance to the main part of the town.
Matt is giving context. He says railway crossing is the
right.
entrance to Frinton. Railway gates. So it's not a gated community. So I'm only riding on this road where I legally must have tax and insurance on my car. But because I'm from Frinton, I don't believe the rules should apply to me. That's basically what it's saying.
So 100%, Chris. Fuck those people.
Yeah, what a cunt.
There we go. For content, I hope my granddaughter is not still watching. No, you've gone as far as to drop a C-bomb.
I mean, I have left it till past nearly half now, which is the watershed.
Liam would have commented a lot more by now and tried to argue his case about Star Wars because I slagged it off. So he's probably gone. Apparently Frinton actually featured in a BBC 2 documentary, and he's included the YouTube link to this documentary, which I'll retweet in a moment. It's commonly called God's Waiting Room due to the older population.
Right, they are the worst as well. Back in my day, we could drive down this road and we could leave your doors open whilst you went to work. Bollocks.
Yes. Nobody would steal your horse shit. Yeah, I remember those days.
I would definitely steal their horse shit.
You would. That was the whole point of that reference, Max. That was the whole joke I was making. Si, you've dropped 4. Dropped 4 what?
C-bombs.
Oh.
I don't know. I don't count.
I did call that head teacher. Yeah, okay. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, and that was about 45 minutes ago, so that was well under the watershed. So, bad grandparent, you.
Yeah, well, I am, mate. I am, but I'm the one she has most fun with. So
that is it. I have got a horrific mouth, but my grandkids love me more than they love anybody.
Sharon is blatantly Leia's favourite, 100%. You see the reaction when she walks in the room is totally different to everyone else. But anyway, Dan Griffin, at Dan Griffin 21 on Twitter, he says, I don't know actually what he says, because I think I might have them a bit jumbled up. Where does he start?
He says, having worked in customer service for many years, there is a special breed of twat, usually, but not exclusively, pensioners, correct? You don't need to add any more. It's just that could be the end of it. But he says, who think terms and conditions are optional. Once had a regular booker cancel a holiday that should have incurred an extra £1,000 charge. As he booked a few holidays previously, I went the extra mile, did some digging, talked to my manager and got that extra £1,000 charge waived, so he only lost his deposit, which he could recover for his travel insurance. My reward for this, he called me a cunt.
Yeah, I had from holidays, so I had the second tweet. For some reason, I hadn't screenshotted the first one, so I apologise. Yes, indeed. Just people again, just think they're above everything, don't they?
Yeah, I signed this contract for this product, but I don't want these rules to apply to me. I mean, it's like people who whinge about the speed of their internet when it says in their contract that there may be issues and you have to grin and bear it. But no, people who ring up Virgin kicking off about it, just arseholes.
Yeah, 100%.
That's why I get the wife to do it.
I'm completely one of those arseholes.
And Dan then continues. He says, a much less personal but wildly aggravating for one is people who can't follow one-way systems in car parks. Not even in car parks, in supermarkets as well. Then when there is
a car park still, though, wouldn't it?
No, not. I mean, in the actual building, in the actual supermarket with the trolleys.
Are you driving in your supermarkets?
No, I'm not. I'm just saying people who can't follow quite clear that a supermarket is designed for you to go one way. Yeah. And I get you can sometimes miss things and need to go back and get the items, but people who genuinely go the wrong way around on purpose, just you awkward bastards. Anyway, he does say people who can't follow one-way systems in car park, always some slack-jawed inbred yogurt trying to drive head on into you and looking at you like you're the twat in every supermarket in Britain, I swear. And people who reverse out of their spots without looking to see if there are people coming and you have to slam your brake on because they're going to back into you. Oh, just drivers in general. Drivers in general are wankers.
We could do a whole topic about issues on the road, couldn't we?
Yes, we definitely could.
We should mark that down for a future week. At the Matt Attack UK on Twitter, up next, we have Matt saying, okay, this one is kind of petty, but it's rules that weren't followed. Firstly, making a mistake, not following the rules intentionally, and the rules being stupid are different things, and yet. It's often said that each game of Dungeons & Dragons uses its own rules.
I've switched off now.
Have you? Are you done with that already?
Nerdy. Too nerdy.
But there's a core rule book everybody uses. It's the Dungeon Master's prerogative to adjust that. When Alex was running his campaign, so Alex would have been... You have to let us know in the chat.
Spiderbread. I think it was at Spiderbread UK.
Okay.
I think it may have come away from Twitter, but I think it was called at Spiderbread. It was when Matt did a Dungeons and Dragons podcast. It was brilliant background.
I had no idea what the fuck was
background going on. No, I didn't have a clue, but it was brilliant. Just following the story, it It was amazing.
Yeah.
Great podcast.
Yeah, so for those who are unaware, then, and Matt, please correct me in the chat if I am giving any wrong information here. But for anyone watching live or anyone listening to the podcast later in the week, well, for you it wouldn't be later in the week; it would be now. But later in the week for us now, I suppose, if that makes sense. What are you laughing at?
You just make me smile. I could be in the shittiest mood, and just spending an hour in your company just makes me smile.
Oh, cheers, mate. You effectively have one guy who's the dungeon master, and he tells the story, and then people have to roll dice to win attacks and fights, and whether they defend themselves against whatever. And there's a set rules, but they can waver a little bit depending on the dungeon master telling the story that he has devised for his friends. Yeah. Okay. When Alex was running his campaign, so Alex was the dungeon master, he ruled that a shotgun is a long-range weapon because the rule book. Yeah, but he's the dungeon master, and he said it is, so that's what works in this story.
Yeah, I get that, but it's not. It's
right,
close quarters, isn't it? It's the spread. The longer distance, the more likely that you're going to miss.
Okay. Are you done?
Carry on.
Rambo over here. All right. Alex ruled that a shotgun is a long-range weapon because the rule book says it is, meaning you're more likely to miss at close range than at distance.
Totally not true. Physics proves that to be just demonstrably untrue.
Okay. We have had full-blown half-hour arguments about this in public at EGX. What's EGX?
It's a gaming convention.
Okay. At Comic-Con, during Dungeons and Junkies recordings. Even
you remembered the podcast name. I'm surprised.
I do. I used to listen to it. Mentioned on Good Bad Cards, much to Graham's disappointments. The worst part is he tried to argue the opposite case when I was the one running my game. Oh, so he changed the rules when it applied to a different way to him. Oh,
but not for me.
Oh, that's naughty. That is very naughty. Also, something government having parties during COVID. Oh yeah. Fuck. Oh, don't even start me off on that.
Yeah, that's annoying.
Yeah.
But we're not going to be political because then we could easily talk about Trump and getting a free plane from Qatar with definitely no strings attached.
Yes, well. Matt also says, we had a supply teacher from Frinton when I was in year 9. She spoke with a Downton Abbey accent and proudly said she was from inside the gates, naturally.
Is that as if they're that petted that being inside railway gates is a badge of honor?
Is that thing is, if it's just railway gates, what else is it like the APA's door? Just like that's the door. There's like nothing else around.
You didn't come through the railway gates.
Yeah, is that what? Because the rest of the time must just be open. It's not fenced off like, what was that film with Nicole Kidman where they were in that fenced off thing? Was Nicole Kidman in that? Or am I thinking of something?
You about the Stepford Wives?
No, I might be thinking of something that doesn't have Nicole Kidman in it, actually.
That's like the majority of things.
Yeah.
Matt says in the comments, it's literally the only way in. Then my advice is burn the gate. Burn the gate.
Oh, okay. So you're going the other way, let them all out.
No, just if that's the one thing that distinguishes them from the ruffians, get rid of that.
Okay.
He says the railway line keeps them isolated. Then, or cause a blockage. Like,
block them in.
Yeah, leave someone who's got like a banger of a car who they're looking to scrap. Leave it parked on the railway tracks, so they
block them in,
so they can't get out.
Like in The Walking Dead, when they build up the walls so the zombies can't get in and they're stuck in their own community.
Yeah.
Cut off their food and water.
Yeah.
Right. Cut off their gas and electric. Leave them for a couple of weeks. Then go back in and just see what's happened. That's the TV show.
When they've started to eat themselves.
Yeah.
Because then it'll be, well, these live on the outskirts of Frinton. These are the almost scruffs. So we'll turn on them, and then it'll be only the inner Frinton people
You'll have
that,
one
that will
particular
survive. Yeah, it'll be like
one
Animal Farm,
particular
won't it?
gang.
George Orwell.
You'll have one particular gang ran from like Doris from the co-op and her community centre friends on their mobility scooters. They're knitting needles out, ready to fight. Do you know what I mean? And they'd be scrapping against the younger group down the road, ran by Reginald from the funeral parlour, and just warring grey-haired people everywhere.
Yeah,
face paint on the lot.
I mean, if you did cut them off, they wouldn't survive, would they? Old fuddy duddies, they'd soon perish. But Matt has given some more context, and it's brilliant. So he says, when the old gates were removed for new electric ones, they were going to turn up en masse to give them a farewell. But British Rail came along in the middle of the night and removed them. It was hilarious. The fucking saddos, the actual saddos, they were going to have a farewell party for the gate. The only thing that they think makes them above everybody else in the area. I mean, we're talking about people who live near Clacton. They voted Nigel Farage in. So these people are not exactly they're not exactly sensible. So they like being the smartest kid in the special needs school, aren't they? We're from Frinton. We're not as autistic as everybody else.
That's it. I'm gonna do some more research into Frinton and find out some more oddities and try and report back on the show. I wonder how much legs we can get out of this.
Matt taking offence about Tara's with the reform push. No, not everybody voted for reform. Or not everyone who lives in Clacton voted for reform. But as a people, you did, and you must bear that grudge. That grudge, not grudge. You must just bear that. Whatever. You brought it on yourselves.
There we go, then. Magsy,
I've loved this topic. This has been.
We've had quite a few.
Cathartic. I feel cleansed after getting rid of all.
Got a lot off your chest, yes.
Yeah,
okay.
a lot.
I'm glad. I'm very glad. Do you want to just scan through the chat quickly, see if there's anything else we want to pick up?
Yeah,
obviously we dipped in and out as we were going, but
there's been some butte. So let's get back to where we were. Let's go to this one. Matt says Sarr got to Lewis Hamilton from Lewis Capaldi when he meant Peter Capaldi. Sarr must really be mad. I mean, I don't think he's any madder than he is on the general episode. He gets all his madness out usually pre-recording, and then you get the mask that he puts on. Nearly knocked my own hat off. Then you get the mask that he puts on. Yeah,
this is a character
normally
I play for you all.
But what you've got to peek into the real crabby bastard Sarr. And
I'm actually incredibly well prepared. I'm incredibly well researched, incredibly intelligent. I know exactly what I'm doing. This is all just the show. What you don't see behind the scenes will blow your minds.
Mm-hmm. I mean, he doesn't wear pants for a kickoff.
There you go.
Anyway, let's go on to this. Morty says he agrees about prequels, except Better Call Saul breaks the mold and actually changes how you watch Breaking Bad without retconning. Yeah, Vince Gilligan, the writers of Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul, the guy deserves all of the praise because they are two really well-written shows. Bulked out a little bit, like we mentioned, but the storyline is just absolutely superb. Mo also agrees with that Hannibal was great. Yeah, I just think shows like that where they start off so good and you can tell that there is a defined plan for how that show is going to go, and then they get cut off at the knees because the viewing figures didn't match what the networks wanted. Just disappointment. There was one called, I think I've mentioned it before on the show, Alcatraz. Brilliant season, absolutely brilliant. And at the end of it, you could tell that they had plans for the second season when they revealed the map of all these Alcatraz prisoners all over the country. And then we got nothing. There was one called Revolution, which was all about a dystopian time where electricity wasn't a thing, and it was basically going back to how we were pre-technology, and there was warring factions, and we got to the story where there was a chance that technology could come back and unite the world again, and that got cut off before we got to finish it. Just pisses me off that these shows don't get a conclusion. Annoys. We've gone through Liam and his very bad takes about Star Wars. Matt says, "Do you mean the newly cast Ron Weasley, who's 10, or Rupert Grint? Because I think it would be hilarious for the former."
That's a
What
good
do you
shout,
mean?
actually.
The newly cast?
Oh,
Have
yeah,
they read?
have you not seen this? The TV show. Oh, that was actually, yeah, that's what I wanted to cover. Quickly, 2 bits of news that popped up just before we came live. They've cast for the Harry Potter TV show they're making. They've cast Harry, Hermione, and Ron Weasley. And also Rick Derringer died today, just before we came. You know Rick Derringer?
I know the name, but I can't remember
He
from.
produced the Pile Driver albums, and he sang Real American, Hulk Hogan's Barry Windham's theme in the WWF back in the early 80s. And he also
Oh, that's sad.
produced, wrote, and provided some vocals for Demolition's entrance scene. Yeah, he passed
Really?
away. Yeah, the
Oh,
news
that's
broke
really
about an
sad.
hour before we went live. Yeah, so yeah.
Oh, I
big
did
shame,
not
big
know
shame.
that. I mean, I couldn't give a monkeys about the Ron Weasley Harry Potter TV show. I think you're flogging a dead horse. But yeah, that's sad about the composer. Oh, I hope he gets mentioned on WWE programming. Sharon,
Very, very talented, underrated guitarist as well. He used to play a lot of blues guitar, and at one point he toured with Ringo Starr's band as a guitarist, a session guitarist for them.
Beatles.
And yeah, incredibly. Not the Beatles, Mags. After the Beatles, he was. He was going to be underrated guitarist. Yeah. So anyway,
Yeah, Ringo's son, is it Zach? He's got sacked from the Who, didn't he? And then rehired and then sacked again.
right. Okay. Brilliant.
Just thought I'd mention that. Just because you mentioned Ringo Starr. Sharon taking the piss with Ruined again.
Ruined.
Matt says to Liam, "There's a lot of good in it," meaning the prequel trilogy, but there's way too much. I know there was a whole movie about trade negotiations. That's when you know you haven't got enough meat on the bone for a trilogy. It's ridiculous. Should have been one film, the Darth Vader backstory. That's it. Matt says Harry Potter is just Star Wars with shit lightsabers. Or is it Star Wars Harry Potter with decent lightsabers? Either way. We've gone on about the language. Let's go to this. Before he gets cross, he's been ranting for the last 49 minutes. Well, an hour and 47 now. Reading between the lines, he's going to rehab. We've covered that, I think. Then we've got Dan saying, "Evening all, sorry I'm late. What bollocks I've missed?" Ranting, a lot of it. Mag's giving us insight into his TikTok algorithm. Listen, my TikTok is literally just TikTok shop now. It's fucking well annoying. Every other TikTok video, buy this from the TikTok shop. No, I don't want it. Thank you very much. Swipe. Then why don't you buy this instead? Fuck off. Swipe. Buy this. No. Anyway, on the phone thing, we've already covered that one. Then there's a lot of people who suffer from main character syndrome nowadays. Yeah, it's a horrible thing where people just think they're so self-important. You also blamed Dan for the awesome new dartboard. Yep. And he said that would be me. He. I do take full credit for the dartboard. I accidentally put it on when I was fucking around. I love it. I love dartboard. It was just very shocking when I turned on StreamYard and it was dark.
I didn't notice it first.
Matt says nothing sounds threatening in that accent, Si. I know. I mean, the Gloucester accent is not. It wouldn't make a kid like shake in fear of you. I'm going to send you to your bedroom in a minute. It sounds actually quite rapey, wouldn't it? Yeah, it's weird.
Back to the rape again. What is wrong with you?
And then Matt, I agree. Chris is the best Lewis. I wish I had a decade. It's only been 7 years. And he's from down the road in Frinton, so he's allowed to slag him off. Then we've been through all of the Frinton bollocks. The place is just a scumbag, isn't it? They're just pricks. This one's a good one. Dan says, my favourite idiot customer was the one who tried to return a whole cooked chicken 3 days after he bought it. And it was half-eaten. And it was in the other supermarket's wrapper without a receipt.
Oh, that is wonderful. And I bet you still have to give him a fucking refund because the customer's always right.
There's a classic video that goes around every now and again of a guy on the phone to, I think it's Asda or Tesco customer service, and he's complaining that his pizza has come with no toppings and he's really kicking off about it. And then the person on the phone says, have you tried turning the pizza over and all his toppings are there because he'd opened the box upside down? What a cunt. Matt thanks me for the shotgun thing. It's definitely weaker at long distance. I think a sniper rifle would be better for long distance, wouldn't it? Shotguns are very much close quarters combat. Again, we've been through a lot of these Frinton stuff. He says there was an outrage when a charity shop opened. There's now 9 of them. And Matt has said he will get his husband to send more stories. Yes.
Please do.
Definitely. We would happily do a full non-wrestling topic on the intricacies of Frinton, the absolute inbred just morons. Dan says there was a manager at my work who did fuck all actual work but bullied staff, fired people on a whim, and was generally a vile twat until she got taken to tribunal for a wrongful dismissal. What a day. What a tossers. People like them who belittle the staff that carry them to the job that they're doing.
Yeah,
and
100%.
I love it when a member of staff quits on people like them and then they have to go crawling back because without that person, their job doesn't get done properly. Stuff like that. Sharon says he can't wear pants. They cut off supply to the brain. Jesus Christ. And Dan says he did not get a refund for the chicken, thankfully. What a great end to that story, then.
Yeah, there we go, Magsy. There we go. We better really jump on and do a bit of wrestling talk now.
It will be
we're
a
nearly
bit
2
as well.
hours in. I was actually thinking to myself, do you know what? We're going to get this done in good time tonight and I can go to bed because I'm tired. But no, here we are, nearly 2 minutes. Thankfully, this is a short match. So shall we jump on into it, Mags?
Let's do it.
Let's get ready to rumble!
Okie dokie then. Bagsy's selection won the poll. We go back to back.
And how did you feel about that?
2005.
How did you feel about it?
Wow, Mags. I'll tell you how I felt. Fucking outraged is how I
I was fuming as well. I messaged you when the poll results came in, and I said I'm fuming that this has actually happened because your match was so much better than this absolute dross.
People just don't want my selections to ever win. They hear 1987 and they think, oh, fuck no. They sound like my kids whenever I mention anything that was like of a certain time. Our Liv, I think, genuinely believes.
I do get that feeling.
Yeah. Our Livs genuinely believes that certain things of a certain age happened in black and white.
Yes.
Like
that match.
Well, pretend. No. Oh, fuck's sake. Right. Tag Team Turmoil, Backlash 2005. Magsy, the format of a Tag Team Turmoil match. For those who are unaware, 2 teams start. They
It's
have
gauntlet.
a match.
It's Tag Team Gauntlet.
It's effectively winner stays on, isn't it? It's kind of where we're getting at. Last team standing is your Tag Team Champions. What do you think of this format? Are you a fan? Do you think it's shit? What do you reckon?
I think it would be better if we got better teams, actual tag teams, maybe, or at least tag teams that were decent. This felt like a throwaway match to give people a payday.
Okay. It doesn't bode well, I feel, when a fantastic talent that is Lillian Garcia sounds bored when she's reading out the rules before the bell is even rung. So straight away you're thinking, this is a warning sign here.
Yeah.
Um,
I mean, you could generally see her mentally rolling her eyes back. Like,
yeah,
fuck's
she was
sake,
not
this
happy.
shower shit.
Yeah, exactly. We begin when I watched this earlier today. Sharon walked through the room at one point, not at this moment, but in a few entrances time, and I said to her, "This is like memory unlocked for me." Because there are guys coming out in this match that I totally forgot about existing. Never mind teaming up. And the first set of wrestlers we see that applies to the tag team of the Heartthrobs. They were there for what, 8 months maybe? They weren't that long, were they?
No, but they were instantly in the title picture. They were the typical Chippendale style, good looking wrestlers who probably didn't have the best in ring chops, but they had muscles, and Vince had a hard on for men with muscles.
Yes, indeed. They begin this match with the team of, well, our tag team champions, actually. The team of William Regal
Which
and
is always
Tajiri.
a good start when your tag team champions are the first ones involved. Nothing ever bad happens when that's the case.
I mean, here I was quite thankful for it because we get to see quite a bit of Regal. Because when you look at
and
everyone
Tajiri.
else in, Tajiri is very talented as well. But Regal for me is the star of this match. He carries his parts anyway. He's very, very good at it.
Yeah, I mean, Star is pushing it. He was the glue that held this horrific match together. I think Tajiri was the star, I think.
Really?
Regal is you know what you get with Regal. He's very, very solid. He can carry anybody to a match. But I think Tajiri was the more flashy of the wrestlers. So Regal walks so people like Tajiri can run.
Okay, fair enough. I'll go along with that. This first moments with the Heartthrobs, Regal is great. We get some proper wrestling, some actual wrestling holds. It's not all high flying stuff. We get a nice double team with a drop toe hold leading to a drop kick in the head from Tajiri. Yeah. That's quite cool.
And then a very interesting kind of suplex / submission by Tajiri as well. Almost like a butterfly, but then he nearly gets himself pinned because obviously he goes on his back in like the surfboard spot. But that was very unique. And then he does a brilliant standing moonsault. I thought that was really well done.
That always looked great, didn't it, when he did that? Always looked good.
That's why I would say that Tajiri was the garnish of the match, where Regal potatoes.
Ultimately, Tajiri wins this opening segment for his team with a sunset flip.
Yeah, and to the Heartthrobs, they were there for a cup of coffee. Very forgettable tag team. We've seen that kind of style of tag team multiple times, and it's never, in my eyes, never been a success. But I did like their kind of double team elbow drop thing where they joined hands together. I thought, whilst not looking very effective, it was unique, and I thought that was decent.
Did that before? Who did that before? Was that there was another team that did that where they clap hands and drop the elbow, but it was just with one hand.
Was
it the Usos?
Was it not Sonny and Skip? The body bombs.
Okay, yeah, you might be right with that. Actually.
And I think Billy and Chuck did it as well.
Okay.
But theirs was unique because it was both hands crossed over, so they essentially made a figure eight and then dropped the elbow. Again, didn't look effective because both arms were outstretched, but it was a unique little move.
They were gone after Tajiri got the free count, probably to never appear on chain wrestling ever again.
I
Up
can't see a
next-
time that they'll be brought up again.
No, I can't either. So thanks for coming, lads. Up next, a team that made me go, holy shit, I totally forgot about this. And then within 30 seconds, I was glad I had forgotten and quite upset that I'd now remembered. Simon Dean and Maven come out. Simon Dean does an interesting leg drop where he's doing squats over to his opponent. I enjoyed that. We get the Scott Steiner press-ups spot at one point from the Fitness Fanatics.
From both of them.
Again, yeah, I enjoyed that as well.
It showed that there was the makings of a team, but for me, I can't see Maven as a heel. He just seemed like too nice of a guy. And I do feel bad for Simon Dean because he was lumbered with a fucking horrific gimmick. The whole Simon system bollocks was crap. Him bringing out his fucking DVDs and his health drinks and stuff like that. The best part of this section of the match was the commentary between JR and Jerry Lawler, where JR asked, "Have you ever seen me in a Speedo?" To which you could almost hear Jerry Lawler retching in the background.
Ultimately, Regal gets a hot tag to not much reaction because it was kind of stumbled a little bit, so they didn't quite get the timing of it right.
There's a nice Exploder suplex on Simon Dean that looked really good. But yeah, I think this was the shortest section of the match as well, maybe 2 minutes long. So we didn't get to see much of Dean and Maven.
No.
Before an actual tag team comes in.
Well, yeah, Regal gets the pin with basically just a running knee, wasn't he? He just clobbered the guy in the head, which makes sense. He drove his knee into someone's head. His shoulders were down for 3 seconds. AEW, take fucking note. Up next, La Resistance, but not that La Resistance. Rene Dupree was far too busy to tag in on Raw. He couldn't be in a mediocre tag team on the Monday night show because he was in a mediocre tag team on the Friday night show with that Japanese fella instead. This is the evil referee
Robert Conway and Sylvain Grenier.
Sylvain Grenier, the Hogan McMahon referee Grenier, and just look at me, Rob Conway. That was the best bit of his whole gimmick. His entrance theme when he went solo.
Yeah, this is La Resistance B team, isn't it?
Yeah, and it's not great.
But there were multiple time tag team champions, so
yeah, but
that just shows the weakness of that tag division.
Oh, mate, and you look over at SmackDown as well at this time. I think SmackDown's even worse. The SmackDown tag division in 05, 06 is the mid card there is terrible. It's so weak. And you think back how we were singing the praises of the WWE roster in 2002, 2003, when they had Hogan, Lesnar, Goldberg, all those guys, Michaels, and the roster was just so stacked.
Yeah.
That short time afterwards, they've lost Austin, they've lost The Rock. I mean, Hogan's back, but he's just coming back for a little mini run here. Michaels is still there, but you look at away from the main event pictures. My word, this is a terrible time, isn't it?
It's dire. Yeah, it's dire.
We begin with La Resistance beating up Regal for a bit. We do get to see the Regal stretch, which is a move I always enjoy seeing. An attempted tarantula by Tajiri, which gets powered out of. Before Regal's just randomly rolled up for the 3 count. He's pulling the tights, Rob Conway. But yeah, that felt like it came out of nowhere, really.
We see the STF. Regal does the STF. Grenier then breaks that up. And then shenanigans, and then pulling of the tarts, and Rob Conway got the old roll up. We got to see the crack of Regal's arse, and magically new tag team champions, and it's either going to be La Resistance, hooray, or the Hurricane and his superhero in training, Rosie.
Yes. Your thoughts on this team, Mags?
On La Resistance, wank. On Rosie and Hurricane, they were good for some comedy spots.
That's all they were to me, yeah.
Were they tag team champions caliber? No. But
and you think as well, Rosie in that silly gimmick. I mean, it was funny with a superhero in training, and it was nice when
because
they,
it spelled shit. That's
yeah,
why.
there you go. Ha, Bruce. But you think a couple of years earlier, he was one half of 3 Minute Warning, who were coming in
fucking
and just
brutal.
fucking killing people.
Yeah, with
What a
Umaga.
change, man. Yeah, what a change. The Hurricane gets beaten up for a little while. Well, he comes in and hits a big crossbody off the top rope first of all, but then he's ultimately getting beaten up for a little while. Sylvain Grenier tries to do a elbow drop off the middle rope, slips, and is very lucky he didn't land on the back of his own fucking head.
Yeah.
Rosie tags in for the hot tag and hits a pretty impressive front slam, like Mark Henry-esque, that looked and also
World's
sounded
strongest
great.
slam. Yeah.
Mm.
And he does a really good Samoan drop slam as well.
Yes, indeed. We get a double choke slam on Rosie as well, though. They struggled a little bit, but ultimately the guy is massive.
He was a big old guy, and
He was a dude.
Conway and Granier's muscles are for sure.
Indeed. But ultimately, we get the tag team champions, the babyface team, winning when the Hurricane does a splash, not off the top rope, but off his partner's shoulders, who stood on the middle rope.
Very reminiscent of the head shrinkers kind of finish move, but with the added part where Rosa steps up on the ropes and then Hurricane's on his shoulders and adds that extra 3 inches of height, I suppose, to make.
Yeah,
you need that leverage, don't you?
That's it. That makes all the difference, mate. That makes all the difference.
Yeah. But as bad, I mean, we got a lot of Regal and Tajiri wrestling, which I thought was it carried the match. This could have so easily been way more horrific than it was. And we do get the good feeling of Hurricane and Rosa becoming tag team champions. It was very feel good. But it's a very forgettable match. You don't go out of this match going, this spot was brilliant, or this match had memorable things. By the end of the next match, you've probably forgotten all about this match. It was just instantly just forgettable.
4 out of 10. What are you thinking?
I mean, I don't want to rag on it too much because it's my pick. But it's not brilliant. But then again, it's not. I want to say it's overly offensive.
Oh, there's nothing wrong with it. Yeah.
I think very middle of the road. I'm going to go 4.
Okay. I've actually got 4 as well. But my process of working it out was similar to you. There's nothing really wrong with it, but there's nothing memorable either. To the point where I'd forgotten half the blokes in this match even exist. Never mind about the match itself. I didn't really know where to go. I thought I don't want to mark it too high because it's not that great. And so what I always tend to do is go back to the 5 out of 10 that we gave Steiner Booker T in our very first episode.
And it's not as entertaining as that.
Yeah, and it's not quite, even though Steiner Booker T is a fucking car crash, it's not quite as good as that. So that's how I've ended up on a 4. There's nothing wrong with it. It's just I wouldn't go back and watch it again.
No, I think it's forgettable. I think that's the best way I can describe it. You watch it and you won't be offended by anything that happens in it, and instantly forget that it ever happened.
Dan Griffin sums it up in the chat very well there. I watched it 15 minutes ago, listened to you guys talk about it, and I already can't remember every team in it.
There you go. Proves my point. Perfect.
There you go. Magsy, obviously there's plenty of options from this match alone, but there's loads of other options as well, of course. How would you link away from this to what the CWF are inevitably going to vote as our topic for next week?
Well, we will see. We will see, and it won't be next week because I'm on holiday next week. So
Yes, we're
week.
not here next week, people. Very sorry. We will be back in 2 weeks' time.
So my link is simple. It's Backlash. I want to come forward a few years to the last Backlash before the pay-per-view itself took a almost 10-year hiatus. I want to go to Backlash 2009. Now I'm torn between two matches on this card. One links well to the recent theme of tag teams, and then the other one kind of, it's a match that I think you would be happier with than my first pick. So I'm going to go with that one because I don't think I'm going to I think I'm going to pick the other. So I'm going to explain the first one, the one that I'm not going to pick first.
Okay.
The one that's just missed out is Chris Jericho taking on Ricky the Dragon Steamboat, who had his first match in like 15 years, and people were very concerned that if he could still go, and he absolutely knocks out the park.
He really could.
He has a fucking brilliant match with Jericho, but I'm not picking that one.
Yeah,
I'm picking the one that links with the tag team theme we've had recently, and that's Jeff Hardy versus Matt Hardy in an I Quit match. So these guys had wrestled. They'd had obviously a storyline falling out. They'd wrestled at WrestleMania, which is a little bit disappointing. And then this match was kind of the payoff, and it ends up being way better than the WrestleMania match. So my pick is Jeff Hardy versus Matt Hardy in an I Quit match from Backlash 2009.
I remember nothing about that.
Well, so either one of those will be a good pick.
My selection then, my choice. I'm surprised we haven't covered this before. Very, very surprised. And I went back and looked on the spreadsheet, and I typed in. Also, I tricked myself momentarily because first of all, I thought for a moment that you had not put forward a single Shawn Michaels match.
I have Hogan versus Michaels.
Yeah, I know you have now, but I typed in Michaels into the search and was tabbing through all the options that came up on the search, and it all came up in my column. And I'm like, has Maxie not put forward a single Shawn Michaels?
So did you put HBK?
For some reason, when I fill in the little box on the spreadsheet on your side, I type in HBK rather than Michaels. I don't know why I do that.
I've picked more than one Shawn Michaels match.
There's loads of them.
Like Razor versus Shawn Michaels, I put that forward.
But when I typed in Michaels for a moment or two, it looked like you hadn't picked any.
See,
very strange, mate.
Making assumptions.
But my link is it's a Shawn Michaels match, but my link is actually Shelton Benjamin. Because Shelton Benjamin
I actually watched your and it's that's a quality match as well.
Really good. See, I watched the opener, and that made me go, wow, that was fucking brilliant. I wonder what Shelton Benjamin's best matches are, and I'm going to link out of it using that because I enjoyed that.
We've not covered a lot of Shelton Benjamin. That's a good point.
We barely seen any really. So I did that, and the one that kept coming up on all these different charts and people's little articles and whatnot is the match that I'm sure everyone can remember the finish from. Shawn Michaels versus Shelton Benjamin from Monday Night Raw on the 2nd of May 2005. And there's some people that go as far as to say it's one of the top 3 matches in Monday Night Raw history. Now, we can all remember the finish, but apparently the match is far better than people actually remember because the finish overshadows it.
Interesting.
So it's the famous super kick off the springboard thingy. So, yeah, that is what I'm putting forward, mate. And again, like I said, we've not seen much Shelton Benjamin, so that'd be quite interesting.
Yeah, so 2, I think, very good picks there.
Yes, very good indeed.
Hardy versus Hardy, something that you didn't really see much of throughout their career, and Benjamin versus HBK.
Yeah,
I mean, we can't lose at the next
Those
episode.
are
Ben.
your options. Make sure you're keeping an eye on our Twitter account at Chain_Wrestling to see when the poll goes up. It's normally up on the Friday because that tends to be when I get round to uploading the audio version of the show now with how work drops. And I don't like to put the poll up before the podcast comes out, really. So I'll put it up the same time, so there we go. Yeah, so those are your options. Shawn Michaels versus Shelton Benjamin from Raw in May of 2005, or Jeff Hardy versus Matt Hardy, I Quit, Backlash 2009, vote, retweet, etc., etc., etc. And that'll decide what we're looking at next week, Mags, won't it?
No, because we won't be here next week. I am on holiday next week.
Yeah, the week after.
The week after, yes.
There we go. Magsy, I suppose all that's left for us to do now is to check out a road story and then get the hell out.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about the road story. Let me just get the video.
What you got for us, Magsy? What you got?
So, if you ever think about wrestlers who embody their wrestling name, I think Mad Dog Vachon is the epitome of someone who lived their gimmick. He was built like an absolute hairy brick shithouse. He had a shaved head. He had a wacky beard and teeth that looked like a broken fence. He absolutely looked like a mad dog. But there's more to just looking like the wrestler you are trying to portray. Some people just have to live that gimmick, and Mad Dog definitely fucking lived that gimmick. In the ring, he was stiff, he was ruthless, he was violent, but then away from the cameras and the crowds, he was stiff, he was ruthless, and he was violent. But he was also a drunk, and he was also on any number of narcotics. And then when you mix all these characteristics up, you often get hilarity and situations that tell great stories. And one such situation happened when Mad Dog was wrestling for the AWA. Now, the AWA boss, Vern Gagne, he was very frugal, and in an attempt to make his limited funds stretch, he used a rickety old airplane to transport the talent to and from different towns. And to hammer home just how shitty this plane was, the wrestlers called it Suicide One because of just how dangerous this plane was to be on. So according to Greg Gagne, Mad Dog had been drinking all day, and he put away an absurd amount of beer, wine, and whiskey. He'd also taken some Quaaludes. He'd also taken some dextroamphetamine and smoked a joint. So this is definitely going to be a very calm flight. Absolutely not. Mid-flight, Mad Dog, he went mad, as a mad dog tends to do, and he ripped open the door to this plane, which absolutely terrified his fellow wrestlers. He then hung out of the plane when thousands of feet in the air, and then started throwing the wrestlers' bags and belongings out of this open door. The pilot obviously then had to make an emergency landing, and whilst on the ground, this gave the wrestlers time to tie Mad Dog down into his seat so the plane could then take off again and carry on to its original destination. But upon landing and getting off the plane, Greg Gagne and Jim Brunzell told Mad Dog that he had lost his pharmacy privileges for that night. Now, this was not news that Mad Dog especially wanted to hear. And he proceeded to beat up both Jim and Greg right there on the runway of the airport. And the only reason the fight stopped was because all three of them were sent toppling by the gust from a passing plane's engine as that plane attempted to land whilst these idiots were fighting on the runway. So yeah, this week's story is how mental Mad Dog Vachon actually was.
And in my head, I've just got an image now of like the sun behind them. They're just little figures, little silhouettes in the skyline as a plane just skims over their heads and they all just collapse.
I would love to see footage of that happening. It would have been absolutely brilliant.
Crazy wrestlers. There we go. Magsy, have we got anything else in the chat before we depart this evening, my friend?
Have a quick look. So Dan says his link from here will be William Regal, and the match would be his last match against Cesaro on NXT, and it's on YouTube.
Yeah, that's a great shot.
He also said, if you feel you can't lose, how about 50-50? Do it. I fucking dare you.
Do it.
Do it.
Don't do it.
Do it. And then he says, Sir, have you heard that I'm on holiday next week? So just to confirm,
I keep forgetting.
I'm on holiday next week. So if you want to be here and talking to the ether, that's fine. I just won't be.
Yeah, I can set up a chat and just, blank the cameras, mute the mics, and just fuck off. I'll just leave you all to it. You can carry on. Awesome stuff. There we go then. Magsy, before we go, do you want to let everyone know whereabouts they can find your good self online?
This one, I think, is my TikTok name. I have an X account as well, but I don't bloody use it apart from for this show, Podfather Mags. So yeah, just go to my TikTok, like all my videos, make me TikTok famous. Join my algorithm on TikTok at Podfarmer Mags.
There we go. I don't really understand what any of that means. You can find and follow me and anything I do on the network that carries this show. So that's at SJP World Media on Blue Sky, Facebook, and Twitter, and on Spotify, Apple, all your podcast players, platforms, and providers. Loads of new stuff going on. We've got a couple of new shows, for example, that dropped literally yesterday. And this morning. We've got Chronic Callum from Matt Lewis and Callum Cruz, the wrestler from Round His Way, talking about chronic illness every week, and a new wrestling-based podcast from the two of them coming very soon as well. And we've also got a fortnightly show coming up, similar to this one in a way. It's filmed. It's recorded live, and it's authors that are taking part in the Sugar and Spice book signing event that my wife often is part of, helps the lady who runs it a great deal and is there as a signing author herself as well. And Dan Griffin and I go along and help out and so on. And on a Sunday evening, they have their own channels and their own Facebook groups and so on that they do a show they call Spilling the Tea, where the different authors will sit down every fortnight, have a conversation about the event and so on. But SJP World Media is carrying the podcast aspect of that show.
Awesome.
So when they get the audio over to me, that gets uploaded, so that goes out every 2 weeks. So you can hear the authors talk about all sorts of stuff going on with the event that is upcoming, hosted at Sheffield United's Bramall Lane football ground. So make sure you're checking that out as well. And the links to tickets and more information is available in the podcast description. But yeah, all of that's available on at SJP World Media. But most importantly, you can find and follow this very show itself on Facebook, Blue Sky, and Twitter. But Twitter's most important because that's where, at the moment, your non-wrestling topic always goes up. And of course, you can vote in the polls for where you want the chain to go each week. And that's at chain_wrestling. Thank you, everyone who joined us in the chat tonight. Thank you, everyone who got involved on all the social medias. We say it all the time, this is your show. And this episode is a perfect example to that. I didn't think the non-wrestling topic was going to do too well when I first put it up. We didn't get very many responses, first of all. I thought the wrestling match that won was very short, what we're going to talk about. And here we are, nearly 2.5 hours in. We've all just been chatting away, and you guys in the chat itself has kept this going. So thank you so much to everyone who was involved in this show from that aspect. Maxie, I'm off now, quite simply, to just have a cup of tea and go to bed because I'm very, very tired. I'll see you in 2 weeks, my friend.
Barry Windham loves the Star Wars prequel trilogy.